What is going on, guys? My name is AK back in with another YouTube video. Now in today's video we're looking at anchor spots and how to break hills on Apocalypse Hardpoint. So make sure you watch right through to the end to catch everything. I promise you won't be disappointed. Now also I just want to point out that quite a lot of the information that I'll be using in this video depends on my last video that I made was actually the spawns on Apocalypse Hardpoint. So if you haven't already checked that out, I'll have a little card at the end of the video so you can go watch that right after this. Last but not least, drop a like if you enjoyed the video. Also subscribe to support me in my journey to become a pro player if that's something you're interested in. And let's get straight into it. So we're going to be starting with the anchor spots for this map. Now for P1 there isn't really an anchor spot, it is the right middle of the map as you can see, so there's no real spawn points that you want specifically for P1, but the important thing is you want to get the spawns for P2, and P2 is this area up here. Let me just jump over the wall. That is this back, these statues here, and so the ideal spawns that you want for that hill are actually in the back here. So all this sort of back region of here is where you want to be locking down to make sure that you get the spawns. That also means you can sort of rotate to this window and watch anyone that actually tries to pinch around and get the spawns. So you want to try and lock down this area here off the start, which if you spawn this side is very easy. You, I mean, you don't have to keep a play back here at the start. At the start you can push up, but maybe after the first or second wave of kills, send someone to drop back. Make sure you lock that down for your team and don't let the enemy steal it. On the other side of things, if you spawn towards this side of the map in the back spawn side here, I'd actually recommend pushing this side as opposed to the other side, just because it's quite easy for people to see you if you're pushing underneath the P1 side of things. Let me just show you where that is. If you're sort of trying to push down this bottom bit here, it's kind of hard to run past here and not have someone in the hardpoint see you or try and kill you. So I'd advise wrapping around this side and then trying to sneak through to the back all around this way. Again, you can jump through the back window here and then get the spawns and pinch this way for your team. But that will help you lock down the spawns for P2, which I'd recommend hanging around in this back area. You can actually stand sort of on the pillars here, watch the push there, or you can stand in this window. There are a spawn point, I'll bring it up on the map, or if you've watched the video you know where that is. And so actually being able to watch the push from the bottom here and the top here is also quite important for P2. But really, somewhere like this is great because you can watch actually the jump up there, certainly call it for information, even if you don't manage to pick up the kill, but with a Krig or something, you probably could, as well as also watching the push from the front and the bottom there, and anything that tries to flank. So really, this is quite a strong position and quite a nice little head glitch to play. Now P3, or the bottom of the TV house here, is quite a central hill, so really there isn't an ideal spawn. Both spawns you're going to be running for a little bit. I personally prefer to play it from this side, just because you can have someone up in the top window locking down the whole of the middle map bit here. That means the people in hill only have to actually watch the bottom, as well as potentially a push up the top. But if they push out the back, again, you can catch them from the back house here. So nice and early on, try and rotate out and secure this side spawns for your team, because the main spawn points are either in the deep spawn, behind this wooden house bit here, or actually quite close to P5, just around here, or sort of towards the bottom here, which gives you, I suppose, the quickest push up to the hard point. So ideally go for that side, but if you've got a strat that works on that side and you like being able to spawn trap them in the back spawn, maybe having a player up here to sort of trap that, again, do whatever works for you. But personally, I prefer this side. Now another reason that sort of flipping to this side is quite good, because if you can hold this, this is also the ideal spawn point for P4, which is just on the turtle statue bit right there. So being able to lock this bit down for your team gives you a nice the nice close spawns for that, and also P5. So being able to hold this for potentially even 3 hills in a row is quite nice. Just continuing on from P4, the main spawn points are actually sort of on there in the far back temple where I showed you the anchor spot for P2, and also on this sort of truck bit in the mid here. So being able to have someone set up that can watch maybe the push through the small chickens room, or sort of all the full flank to the spawn as well, all the way back here. So yeah, have someone set up in the spawn. That's a nice good watch. Last but not least, of course, you want to keep the spawns in the deep back here for P5. Have your subs or someone set up just watching the front side here, because that is sort of the main push towards this hill. But have one of your ARs set up either in the deep back, and then maybe your second AR set up in the top of the house, up by the window. Try not to have the game clock run out, but have someone stand up here and watch that side, and then one person in the back to watch the pinch, because they probably will try and pinch from this side. But that's about it for the anchor spots on Apocalypse. Next we're going over to TAC Maps, which is the free draw software that I can sort of show you the best ways to actually break the hard points. So as you can see, here we are on TAC Maps. We'll choose Hardpoint and Apocalypse. Load it up. As you can see, we've got the map here now. If you do want to get TAC Maps for yourself, I always get loads of comments about this, so you can get it in the Windows Store, and I believe you can get it on Mac as well, if that's what you're on. So go into the Windows Store, search TAC Maps, you should be able to find it. It's an absolutely amazing tool if you've got a team and you want to sort of go through strats together. Go on Discord or something, have someone screen share it and talk through all the strats. It's so much better being able to visually see it than just being able to talk to each other, and everybody sort of have their own idea of what's going on. So if you want to get it, and I really would recommend it, it's great for videos as well. It's in the Windows Store or on the Mac Store. I'm not too sure, but yeah, definitely get it if you want it. Now, you heard me mention at the start of how to anchor for P1. My main sort of idea of how to actually sort of improve for P1 is actually to hit through the back here and try and flank round all the way around the deep back and then get in the back of their spawn. Now, for breaking the hardpoint, this also works quite well. Maybe if off spawn you send 2 players, or maybe if you have someone jump up on the truck here, you can watch this window push here. That's quite a nice one. Maybe have an AR set up there to watch that. Maybe have one person push up to the chickens to watch. Sorry, I should put that in red. This is the little house with the chicken cages in. I call it chickens. I don't know if that's the official name. They can watch the push up here. You won't actually have anyone watching the bottom, but again, maybe they can watch that as well. And this player can push up. But once you've done that, maybe send 2 players this way. Have maybe your AR to full flank at the back, and then 1 player to actually push up to the sort of the brick half wall, and then from there they can actually pick up anyone at a hill. So that's a nice good pinch that you can get off the start of the sort of off the break. But if you don't want to do it off the break, or maybe you will die off the break, again, sending people to sort of wrap through here and pinch round is a good way to actually be able to break the hill, as well as making sure you have that person right hit to the back to secure the spawns for P2. It's especially important on P2 because P2 is such a money hill. It's one of them that's quite easy to lock down once you've actually got control of it. So definitely, if it means giving up a bit of time on P1, make sure that you can get that set up for P2. It's quite important. Now, moving on to P2, although it's hard to break, as I mentioned, if you can actually get that break, it will be very rewarding, meaning you'll probably get the rest of the time simply because of the fact it's hard to break. So any break that you do is very rewarding. Now, the main spawn points for this, if you're actually spawning out, again, the close spawns are sort of that side, but the main spawn points when you're spawning out are actually in the back here, as well as the deep back of the spawn. There's a fair few spawns there, and also close to the back of P4. Now, personally, I always think running at the front of the hill is probably the worst way to do things, but coordinating pushes to sort of hit round the back, again, it's probably the best way to do things. So what is essentially round the back for P2? Well, that would be hitting towards the side here, trying to get temple control so you get the close spawns for your team. Of course, trying to break a hill with close spawns is always beneficial. So maybe send 2 or 3 players to actually hit round the back here, kill their anchor. They probably will have an anchor set up somewhere in the back here, maybe in the back of the temple if they're not too sure what they're doing. But yeah, make sure that you find that player that is at least attempting to anchor spawns, and then try and hit through the back. Now, if you do spawn here, I'd probably recommend actually just wrapping back and then going like maybe through chickens and through mid. I would watch out for the half wall. I wouldn't really jump up there too much because with all the mantling, it's kind of easy for them if they're pre-aiming that to definitely kill you. So again, I'd recommend hitting around the back and then pinching the hard point from behind, because even if you do die, the fact that you've gone around the back and killed that anchor player, you'll probably have the spawns that mean you spawn up close anyway. But as I said, P2 is quite a hard one to break, so if you can actually pull that off, then yeah, congratulations. Next we move on to P3, which is this bottom area here. Now, this is quite an open hill, quite an easy one to break, I think. But really, I guess good ways to do that are from the bottom trenches and sort of jumping up. And again, from the opposite side, bottom trenches. Get that whole bottom of the of those sort of bamboo structure things. I'm not really sure what the call-outs for them are yet. That's all sort of still being finalised. But yeah, make sure you can get control of that bottom area. Use that to your advantage to try and yeah, get some hill control. Now, not the hardest one to break, similar to P1, very open, so there's quite a few angles that you can actually get killed from if you're in the hill. But yeah, I definitely recommend trying to get the spawns in the back here as a priority, as opposed to actually breaking the hill, because once you've got the close spawns, that'll give you a lot of time for P4 and P5, and potentially for P3 as well, if you end up getting the close back P5 spawns. Now, P4 is one of the only hardpoints that I think hitting from the front is actually a fairly decent way to do it, just with how sort of open, other than the turtle statue, there isn't really that much cover there. So being able to push up into the small window just off P2, if they're running around the hill, you can probably pick up a few kills from that. And with that sort of covering fire, have your SMGs push up into the hill from the front. You can do it that way, that works quite well. Or if you coordinate a push that someone actually hits through mid, tries to kill the player in chickens, I'd actually recommend hitting around the back. And then getting the player from there, or even maybe full committing maybe through P3 and hitting the back to sort of get that pinch on is probably another good way to do it, just to try and sneak through, because the person that's in the chickens will have an advantage there, being that they're on a head glitch. So yeah, hit around the back, try and get that kill, and then push through together. Now, I say this in pretty much all of my how to break hardpoints, or in the one video I made with all of the hardpoints on it. It's all about team coordination. You can hit things together, you've got a lot better chances than if you're just going one after the other. That's very easy for them to kill. You end up just going to be gifting them free kills and double kills, triple kills, all that sort of stuff. But you hit at the same time, chances are you'll probably do a lot better. But again, as I mentioned in the anchoring spawns bit, if sort of it looks lost, if you don't think you're going to get much time on P4, actually making the effort to wrap all the way through P5 and secure this back spawn area here for your team is then the next most beneficial thing that you can do, because that will be so easy for P5. I think P5 is quite a money hill in terms of you can get quite a lot of time on it if you get a good setup nice and early. Make sure you have one person watching the P4 push though. That's about the one good flank for P5. Which brings me on to P5, of course. If you do want to do that, I'd recommend pushing from the P4 side or through the L wall side. Again, getting the back spawn control just because of how influential the back spawns are for the P5 hill, because it's very easy to get a player set up watching the trenches push. All you have to do is have someone in the top watching the mid push, and then you've pretty much locked down the hill from there. So try and pinch around the back of P4, try and get the back spawn control, flip the spawns for your team, and then once you've got the spawns, you've got the numbers, and then you can get a nice coordinated push to break the hill. Now that is about it for today's video. I really hope you guys have enjoyed this. Smash the like if you did, and also, as I said, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more of these videos. I've got loads of them in my competitive COD playlist that they'll be linked to in the description. But also, if you want to follow me on my journey to become a Call of Duty professional, which is the goal in the end, be sure to subscribe and follow that as well. But thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one.